Well, that's one way to pivot. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody, to Post-Match Panic. We are talking Friday Night SmackDown for February 27th, 2026, on the eve of Elimination Chamber. We are starting this episode off very hot. We don't even get any in-ring action. The first thing we see when this show opens is Jey Uso getting loaded into the back of an ambulance. Backstage is in chaos, all this going everywhere. Cody Rhodes going everywhere, trying to figure out what's going on. And, clearly, this is a pivot from the injury to Bronson Reed, and that Jey wasn't supposed to win that match. And now they are trying to figure out what to do to take Bronson's spot, which, we'll find out and we'll talk about a little bit later. But, Jey was clearly not meant to be at Chamber, and this is the way they decided to go about it. Not a bad way to do it. How they decided to find his replacement, I got some thoughts. So, we get Drew McIntyre in the ring, comes out of the stands and saying that he had nothing to do with Jey. He says it's hilarious, but, his hands are clean. He is the one who always tells the truth, and he is constantly labeled guilty until proven innocent. So really playing into that victim mentality, whether it's true or not, I think it is. Drew's always telling the truth. Yeah, he's a heel. Yeah, he's a bad guy, whatever. But, he gets a bad rap a lot of these times. And, I think he is in the right in this one. And, he says that he is the champion and should be able to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. All this then does come out pretty heated, saying to stay away and not get involved with this whole situation, to get into Aldis's office because there's 20 people in the back that want a piece of Drew, and he's tempted to let him have it. Everyone thinks that Drew is the one who did all this because he's been stacking the deck the past few weeks to try to make his match at Mania a little bit easier. And so why not take out the people who are going to be in the chamber to be who he wants to be in the chamber? So before Drew can get out of the ring and go to Aldis's office, Cody comes out and Drew just bails. He takes off out of the ring, gets into the stands, and Cody calls out Drew and says that he wants to fight him right here, right now. And Drew's like, no, I'm the champion. It's not going to benefit me at all. I'm not going to fight you. Screw that. And Cody says that Drew's entire championship reign has been him running like a little bitch. Now, say what you will. Drew I feel like he's been playing the smart game. He's been playing the game to keep his championship, not necessarily give everyone an option and an opportunity to take it from him. He worked hard to get it. He's been screwed out of it time and time again. He's going to hold on to it with every fiber of his being, and we're going to see that. So Cody talks about the no rematch clause from their last match and says that he's going to win Chamber. And as soon as he starts talking about that, Randy Orton comes out. Says that he feels bad for Jey, but his only concern is winning the Chamber and whipping Drew's ass to become the 15-time champion. Randy Orton being the one who's tied for third, I believe, and I think both he and Triple H have that 14-time champion. He's looking to get that 15. So, we knew this was inevitably going to happen on the eve of the Chamber. We're going to get everybody out here. So as soon as Randy starts talking, Trick Williams comes out. And I got to say, it's amazing how quick that he has elevated his game on the main roster. Trick just immediately feels like he belongs. He fits in perfectly on the mic. The crowd loves him. It doesn't hurt that he's got an easy chant and a very catchy chant, and it's just good. So I think he's already got a really good spot on the show and on the main roster, and I think he is going to do great things this coming year. So, and Trick starts talking about how he wants to add a little flavor to the menu, seeing that they're in Kentucky and that they're in the KFC Center, and he wants to add a little flavor, which is why he brought his, and as he's about to say, his lemon pepper steppers. Javon Evans, the young OG, interrupts, says he's here to make a statement, wants to be the youngest world champion. And of course, who's going to come out next? L.A. Knight. My boy, L.A. Knight. Yeah! And he comes out, and at one point, Trick had dropped his jacket on the floor, and L.A. Knight grabbed it, put it on for a minute, and realized that nope, and he just takes it off and throws it to the side. Now, I loved what LA said here. This is one of the reasons why I love him. He's just so fun on the mic. I feel like anytime he says these kind of things, it always gets a laugh out of me anyway. I don't know what that says about me, but it's fun. I love it. But he goes, I hear a little big talk. Nightmare this, bouncy that, Viper this, lemon pepper moron idiot. And just those kind of things, those little things are what get me. He was pointing at each one of the guys, talking about how he's hearing all this. And then he points at Drew. He's like, Drew, you mushmouth moron. That title belongs to me, with everyone saying. And then Trick Williams comes in and says, whoop that trick. Now, Knight didn't take that well, and he and Trick start fighting outside the ring. And then, of course, we got to have everything break down. So Javon Evans eats an RKO, and Randy and Cody face off, not trading any blows, but right before Randy leaves the ring. Really just setting up that chamber match for tomorrow night, which I think is going to be great. I think it's going to be good. I think Randy walks out of that thing as the champion, or as the number one contender, going to get face Drew. I think he's going to hit that 15. That's what I want to see. I'm really hoping they make a big spectacle about the OG Cutter and the RKO. I really want to see that happen. Oh, that would be just chef's kiss. It'll be good. So that's how our show opens. We get Tiffany Stratton backstage. She's ready for the chamber, ready to get that championship back. Asuka and Kairi come in. Asuka says Tiffy time's over and that nobody's ready for Asuka, setting up a match between the two of them for tonight. And, I don't know if this is the smartest move. We find out later. But weakening yourself before the chamber match, not always the best move. But Kairi was playing around with Tiffy's dress and her little tassels and everything, and she asked her if she was a jellyfish. And one of those little things are just hilarious. It just makes the segments, and it's just fun. We got our first match of the night that was teased last week: Solo Sikoa versus Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy called Solo out to come out by himself, says, I will come out by myself. It'll be you versus me. Let's go. And let's see if you can ditch those insecurities. Now, Solo does come out alone, but he has the lantern with him. I really, 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 really hope that creative dives into this story. I want them to make it good. They haven't done much with the Wyatts or anything like that story-wise, and I feel like this is a good opportunity for them to dive into it, head first, and just make it a good story. And we haven't seen Howdy in an actual match, I don't think, in a very long time. Definitely a solo match. He's maybe been in a tag match here and there, but as a solo singles match, I think this is the first one I've seen in a very long time. So good to see him back in the ring. Clearly trying to get into Solo's head and in control most of that match. Both of them going for their finishers early on. Sister Abigail spikes here. I think that one where Solo was trying to spike Howdy outside the ring, and Howdy ducked, and Solo hit his hand on the post. That's got to do some damage. And that seemed to play a big part of the entire match. Solo, every time Solo tried to hit Howdy with one of those spikes or one of those moves with that hand, you can definitely see that hit him and that hurt him really hard. And Howdy played into that. He was cranking on that thumb, working it really hard, and you could just see throughout that match it was just a big deciding factor in the outcome. We got to see the mandible claw in a reversal because Solo tried to set up his own Sister Abigail, but Howdy was able to get out of that. It's his move. He knows how to get out of it. And so why not just throw a little mandible claw in there for the reversal? And a little bit of more back and forth again. Like I said, the spike with the thumb clearly hurting Solo, and which it was able to let Howdy set up the Sister Abigail for the win. So Howdy celebrating. He's got his hands on the lantern again. But of course, you knew this was going to happen at some point. The MFTs come out from behind the timekeeper's area and hit Howdy in the face, taking the lantern back. So this story is not over. We are going to see more of this, and thank God, because if that was the end, I don't know how I'd feel about it. So keep pushing this story, keep going, dive into it, make it great. That's the thing. Don't just make it okay. Don't make it good. Make it great. If you're going to do this, make it great. After that, we get Nick Aldis backstage telling Drew to stay home and stay out of trouble. The Vision, what's left of it, decide to make an appearance from Monday Night Raw, approaching Nick Aldis, says that Heyman wants to help him. He knows he needs somebody in the chamber, and the Vision wants to put Logan Paul in the chamber. Now, I was pissed when this happened. You know my thoughts on Logan Paul. He doesn't need to be there. He was a wasted spot last time. He'd be a wasted spot this time. So going into this segment, not knowing the outcome later, at the end of the show, I was pissed. But that's how they wanted it. Now, this was just kind of a dumb segment at the end because Logan's getting all fired up and just being a complete douchebag. and getting his arms into Nick Aldis's face, saying that Nick has his consent to kiss his bicep. Logan, you have my consent to kiss my ass. Like, go to hell. You don't belong here. Go. You bring nothing to this organization other than your shitty energy drink. So go away. And they say that it's convenient that Jey Uso is in an ambulance, and then the Vision shows up, clearly insinuating that they have something to do with this, which completely makes sense. It would be something the Vision would do. But despite that, Aldis says that he'll make some calls and he'll figure out a way to fill that spot. We get into the next segment, Rhea, Ripley, and Iyo backstage getting ready to defend their titles against Nia and Lash later on tonight. Rhea's also getting ready for the Chamber. Again, you have a championship match for your tag titles right before you're about to enter the Chamber. Could very well play a part tomorrow night. We'll have to see if Rhea can hold her own, one against Nia and Lash, and then not get beat up too badly to not do well in the Chamber tomorrow. And of course, Jade's going to finally be around because, it's her title that, she's defended once, maybe twice in a year, to come in and say that nobody will have Rhea's back in the Chamber, and that's where her focus should be, not on those tag titles. We jump from that to another backstage segment with all this. Again, we're going to have a lot of segments tonight because it's Chamber tomorrow, a lot of story lead-ups. So Jacob Fatu, who was there with Jey in the ambulance at the beginning of the show, gives an update on Jey. And Fatu is convinced that it's Drew McIntyre who did this, he's convinced that Drew was the one who attacked Fatu and now is attacking Jey. But there's no evidence to the Jey attack. We don't know. I mean, it's pretty clear that Fatu was near Jey and Drew was on the other side of the stadium from what it looked like at the beginning. So we'll have to see. Fatu tells Aldis to put him in the Chamber, and that says he'll solve the Drew problem by winning Chamber and walking into WrestleMania. Aldis is going to take that into consideration for later tonight, and he'll get back to him. We get our second match of the night, Tiffany Stratton versus Kairi Sane. That's right. I said Kairi Sane because originally it was supposed to be Asuka. Now, Asuka gets on the mic before they get into the ring. Tiffany's already there and says that she's smart. She's not going to come in, and sends Kairi Sane out because Asuka's got to focus on the Chamber, wants to be fresh for the Chamber. That's valid. Makes complete sense. Good bait and switch by Asuka on that one. Good for her. Now, clearly this is supposed to be a momentum builder for the Chamber. You can see that that's kind of what it goes for. But we get Chelsea Green on commentary. And, throughout this entire match, I wasn't really paying attention to the match as much as the commentary with Chelsea and the guys on the desk. I think that's where this match shined. Yeah, it's Tiffy in the ring. Tiffy's always great in the ring, and it's always great to see Kairi, do things. And but for me, for whatever reason, my attention was more on what Chelsea was saying in her commentary, and I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just Chelsea being Chelsea. But my favorite quote, as they were talking back and forth, Chelsea goes, "I think the best part of me is that I have zero thoughts," which is kind of profound in a way. It just means that she just says what's on her mind, like from brain to mouth out, like that's it. So, very, very entertaining. I felt like it was just a good momentum builder to the Chamber match tomorrow for both of these, or for at least Tiffy. Asuka clearly with the mind games, making sure that she's fresh for tomorrow night. And there's a big nasty landing with a DDT off the apron. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was, a missed thing, but that looked painful. And then towards the end, we get Tiffy pushing Kairi off of the top post onto Alba Fire, who's over by the announce table with Chelsea. And then Tiffy gets in Chelsea's face. Chelsea stands up, still in that boot. Clearly doesn't need to be in a wheelchair, exposing that a little bit. And Tiffy gets out of the way as Kairi jumps off the ropes, landing on Chelsea. So furthering that injury, I'm sure Chelsea will find a way to blame this on Tiffy. But Tiffy gets that prettiest moonsault ever onto Kairi for the pin. So good momentum builder, like I said, for the Chamber. And definitely furthering an entertaining storyline between Tiffy and Chelsea. It's good. Once again, we're backstage with Aldis, and the Vision says that he has discussed with Adam Pearce, and Logan Paul is going to get an opportunity to compete in the Chamber. He just has to beat Jacob Fatu. Please, for the love of God, was going through my mind. Let Fatu win this. He has storylines active with members of that match already, it should clearly be him. Going into our next match, we have The Miz versus Oba Femi. Now, this came about last week in a segment backstage where Miz said that he wanted to show Oba the ropes and kind of be that locker room leader and show him how he can be on this roster. And Oba says, okay, you show me the ropes. I'll go talk to Aldis and we'll get a match set up for next week. And this is what happens. So Miz immediately gets out of the ring and grabs a mic as the bell rings. Now, this was after the bell rang. Match is going on. Miz grabs the mic. Says that they don't need to fight. And as he's trying to get in the ring, Oba grabs the mic from him and says, go get another one. Miz just says that it's all been a misunderstanding. He wants to be a locker room leader that just takes him under his wing and guide him like The Undertaker was for him. Oba says he doesn't see the physical resemblance, but Miz does look like a dead man. And, Miz has all the connections that he can make the crowd and everyone around the world chanting Oba's name. Clearly, Oba says he doesn't need the Miz to get them chanting his name. He can do it on his own. And he looks at Miz and he uses his government name saying, Mike, you're dying tonight. And as Miz tries to walk away, Oba grabs him. Miz slaps Oba, big mistake. And Oba starts his destructive reign, running elbows. Miz tried to go for a skull-crushing finale, but Oba tosses him up in the air and then hits him with a fall from Grace for the pin. Now, I don't know how I feel about these Oba matches just being a bunch of talking and then him destroying everybody. I love him on the mic. I think he's funny. I think he's great and very intimidating on the mic. But I think we're to the point now where we know his destructive power, and I want to see him start making actual matches and making runs. Maybe they're waiting until after Chamber. Maybe they're waiting until after Mania to really push him for that. But I'd like to see them do more than just, ring the bell, get on a mic, and then beat down whoever it is. The poems were fun with Kit, and they still are. They're still great. But we can't have that style be every time Oba's in the ring. We still want to see him with Rusev. He may be there on Monday. I don't know. But I still think we need to see that intense side rather than kind of like that comedic, intense side that we've been seeing on SmackDown the past few weeks. So. After that, we get Melo backstage, getting ready for what he is thinking to be another match against Ilya Dragunov. And as he goes past Ilya isn't in his gear. And Ilya is very upset that he hasn't been successful recently. He doesn't deserve the shot right now. So he's going to go work on himself and make sure that he's ready the next time they go. And Melo says Ilya doesn't need to be pep-talking Melo. He needs to be pep-talking himself. Then walks out for his match, his open challenge match, which we go right into. Carmelo Hayes versus Matt Cardona for the United States Championship Open Challenge. Now, Matt has been in the backstage scene saying that he's coming from Melo. He's been around a lot with Apollo Crews. He was a big part of that 10-man tag match a couple weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. And I'm glad we're seeing more of Matt because, he came back, they made a big deal about it, and then he was just kind of, there for a bit. So this match was fun. It was really good. It was a very entertaining match. I really enjoyed this. I think it was great to see Matt Cardona doing stuff. It wasn't boring. It wasn't as intense as Ilya and Melo, but again, we can't have that every week as much as I would watch that every week. I think it's good to have someone like Matt Cardona come out do with a different type of style, still powerful, but he is I think Cardona's ready to be back. I think it was fun. It wasn't boring. It was great. There was a lot of really good power and aggression from both these guys. Melo getting hit hard after that first commercial break and Cardona just dropping the hammer on him. It looked like Melo was going to drop this match and drop it all. But, the Melo being Melo, he's going to do his springboard leg drops. He's going to rally. He's going to do all of this stuff. And that whirly bird move that Joe Test called La Mystica, I guess is the name of that move. So, it makes sense because it looks like a luchador-style move. So La Mystica is that whirlwind move that Carmelo does. A lot of fun, very good. Big Hurricane Rana off the top turnbuckle to Melo. And, Cardona was able to get that kind of a Frankensteiner Hurricane Rana type move. Really cool to see. But, Matt hits him with a Rough Rider, and Melo barely kicked out, but he was able to rally and get that first 48 for the pin. So, solid match, good respect between the two. These guys don't have any ill will, which Melo nowadays doesn't have any bad blood between a lot of people. There's still a few, but it feels like a lot of the people he's gone against have been very respectful. So, smooth, solid, and fun match. Again, like I said, I like what I'm seeing from Cardona. Fill out that mid card picture. Don't the mid card for the SmackDown scene. This is why you do a 3-hour show, is so you can fill out these storylines, fill out these cards, and just not have it be buried. You're doing it on the men's side, do it on the women's side. Julia needs to have her story, and we need to figure that out. So my guess is that we're going to see Apollo Crews be the next person in line, just based on what we've seen backstage and what we've seen in these different segments. I think Apollo Crews is going to be Melo's next challenger next week. So, and now the crate backstage. I seeing this, I thought Adam Pearce told his people to take it to Chicago, not Louisville, not back to Nick Aldis. So I don't know why it's necessarily here when they're going to just take it to Chicago and open it tomorrow night. But and did my eyes deceive me, or was that Los Garza in the background there? I haven't seen them in ages, which, I mean, it makes sense. Like, I guess they've been down in AAA, which I haven't seen in a while, but it's good to see them back. It's good to see some old faces returning. So, as we're getting into that, Truth has to tell people how to watch on ESPN because it's so convoluted. Now, the best way to do this is to have Truth do it, but the fact that you have to have a whole segment of your show dedicated to telling people how to watch your PLEs, you know that it's a wrong decision to do it that way. You guys have these dollar signs in your eyes that that's all you care about. You don't care about how easy it is for people to watch your content. We're dealing with the ticket sales too. Same thing. Get this greed out of your eyes. You aren't NFL people. I mean, NFL doesn't deserve as much money as they're getting either, but like, you guys are making it way too difficult to watch. So, Stephanie McMahon said it great. Just get a VPN. Get a VPN and watch it on Netflix. Canadian Netflix has all WWE content on their Netflix. So just spend whatever it is to get a VPN, get it up there. You never have to worry about logging into ESPN. Don't give them your money. They've got enough of it. Their content is crap anyway. Stop giving ESPN your money. Get a VPN. Watch it on Netflix. Be done with it. So after that, we see Candice wheeling Johnny Gargano past everyone, planking on his case. And as everyone is laughing at Johnny Gargano, Kit comes in calling everyone toxic for laughing at Gargano, and everyone then starts laughing at Kit. Now, Candice LeRae has her match with Jordynne Grace coming up next. Would have been funny if she continued to roll out Johnny on that case instead of him kind of walking out moping around. First time we've seen him vertical in a while. He's always just kind of been horizontal. And I liked what Wade Barrett said. He's like, Johnny Gargano, more like Johnny Depresso. Gauging that little bit of humor. And it's funny because I saw an IG and Instagram post of, I guess, Candice and Johnny. They were on a Disney cruise. And again, Johnny was just planking everywhere, in their room, like on the ship, everywhere else. So good that even a Disney cruise, the happiest place on earth, can't even cure Johnny Depresso. So we get Candice LeRae in the ring, Juggernaut Jordynne Grace coming out. And Johnny walks out and just starts planking on the announce table. He's got to find a place to lay down and is just moping on that table. So you look at this match, you have Candice LeRae, who is a tiny little pixie, the poison pixie, and then you have Jordan the Juggernaut. This match went exactly the way you thought it would. Jordan just starts tossing Candice around like a rag doll. Candice, even her speed really can't do much against Jordan. There was a time where you had some seesawing into cover after cover, but for the most part, this was just Jordan just throwing Candice around. And then at one point, Johnny sits up and starts to walk out. It looked like he might have been mumbling something, but he just starts zombie walking out. Candice is like looking outside the ring, like walking towards the outside of the ring, trying to figure out what's going on. And Jordan takes advantage of that, hits Candice with the suplex to win. Zero reaction from Johnny Gargano. He's just walking out. He just walks backstage, and we don't see him anymore. So are we concerned? Are we concerned for our boy Johnny Gargano? Someone needs to really sit him down and have a talk with him. So I don't know if that's he's got to make a call to his old buddy at AEW, or if the Motor City Machine Guns need to reach out and just check on their boy. I don't know. TBD on Johnny Gargano. Well, come on, lift your head up, buddy. it'll be all right. We get Raquel Rodriguez backstage next, talking about her and Liv running WWE as champs on both brands, which is my prediction. Jade comes in again. She's going to approach everybody saying to focus on yourself and that she'll embarrass her at WrestleMania if Raquel's the one to make it there. Now, Michin and BFAB come in, and something about Michin is getting under Jade's skin. I don't know what it is, but Jade is not the same hardcore, I'm that bitch, whenever Michin's around. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that story plays out and how they continue that. So, yeah, it'll be good. We get Jacob Fatu backstage. Cody comes in and says for what it's worth that he hopes it's Fatu in the match instead of Logan. I think we all feel that way. Every single person feels that way. And Cody then walks off, shakes hands with Sammy after a little bit of a stare down. They've had their words back and forth lately after that triple threat qualifier. Sammy then goes over to Fatu and asking about Jey. Again, Sammy and Jey having a lot of history in the bloodline. Sammy being an honorary member of the bloodline back in the day. And then Sammy, implies that maybe it was Jacob that was the one who attacked Jey for a spot in the chamber. Now, I knew Fatu was going to try and get in the chamber after he lost to Cody in the qualifier, but would Fatu turn on his own family to do it? That's his cousin. Jey Uso and Jacob Fatu, they're blood, man. Would he have turned on his family? Is that so important, his revenge to Drew, that he would turn on the Yeet Man, Jey Uso? So Sammy said they all got screwed, but in that qualifier after Drew came in. But Fatu says the only one who got screwed, who didn't get screwed, was Sammy, because it looked like Drew was trying to help him win the match. Because whether Sammy was in on it or not, Drew was trying to make it so Sammy was going to win that match. And so to make the chamber a little bit easier to fight someone he wanted to fight and that he knew he could beat at WrestleMania. Sammy, being Sammy, just kind of back down and, apologize and encourage Fatu to win the match. And then as soon as Jacob leaves, he goes and flips the table. Man, Sammy's got some stuff to figure out before we see what happens with him next. So moving on, we get the women's tag team championship match, the newly crowned Irresistible Forces, the newly named, that is their new name, Nia Jackson Lash Legend versus the current champions, Rhea Ripley and Iyo Sky. I don't know how I feel about this new name. I feel like Lash would just be good on her own, doesn't need anyone like Nia. So having a name like the Irresistible Forces, essentially just taking Nia's name and adding an S to the end of it, seems a little lazy, but I don't know. I feel like this friendship isn't long for this world, but this match came about after that weird ending a couple weeks ago. There was even Tess and Wade Barrett were talking about, like, was this a double count out or was this the ref just wanted to stop it because he was getting out of control? Couldn't really figure out what was going on, but alas, here we are with a rematch for the women's tag team championship. Now, this match was, it was what you expected. I think Rhea and Iyo learned a lot from their last match, and there were a lot of quick tags. It was nice to see Mommy get in the match really quick. Didn't let Iyo get destroyed for 10 minutes straight. Iyo tried to catch Lash off guard at the beginning, and Lash is just too powerful, especially for someone as small as Iyo. Not necessarily as powerful. Iyo relies on her quickness and her high-risk maneuvers rather than Rhea Ripley, who is just dominant in every aspect. There was a dual Hurricane Rana attempted off the apron between Iyo and Rhea, but Lash and Nia catch both of them and start slamming them in the barrier. And then once they get back in the ring, Lash hits Iyo in the face with a massive boot. And Iyo's just great at selling and just took it like a champ. But once Rhea got back into that match, she started just doing work, just started laying waste to all the women there. But of course, Nia's got to get a shot in and get Rhea in position for the Annihilator. But Rhea knows what's happening. She's been around the block with Nia enough to know and gets out of it in time, gets up before she could hit the Annihilator and ends up hitting Nia with a power bomb. Big power bomb. But, yeah, a lot of stuff happens in this one. There was the Samoan drop onto the announce table for Rhea and then gets thrown back in the ring. Lash hitting Rhea with a big choke slam and Nia hitting Rhea with a leg drop from the top. Iyo made the save on that one. Rhea just looking destroyed in the middle of the match. Iyo runs at Lash after the sequence to Rhea. Lash just tosses Rhea over her head into Nia, and then some sort of like Iyo hit Nia with some sort of neck breaker. It looked like she may have overextended on it, but got Nia out of the ring. So that was just setting it up so where they can missile drop kick Lash to set Iyo to dive on, sets up Iyo to dive on Nia, allowing Iyo to hit Lash with a bullet train attack and then an over the moonsault. Looking like that was going to be the end, but Nia was able to get out and save it at the last second. Nia hitting Iyo with the Annihilator, but again, Rhea was able to just get up and save the pin. Rhea puts everything she has, every ounce of strength into a riptide to Nia, but Nia not being the legal superstar, Lash comes in and hits Rhea with her Lash extension and gets the pin. Now, we have new tag team champions in the women's division. I was talking to Jesse about this and about our reactions to the show, and he's like, how'd you feel about that, the tag team stuff? And I said, you know what? I'm actually glad the titles changed hands. The reason being is that now, hopefully, we can get Rhea and Iyo back into singles competition, where we've seen them shine lately. We had that match with Rhea, I think it was just last week, against Julia, and that was an amazing match. Like, get Rhea back into singles competition. Iyo is great as a singles competitor. Like, the tag team, it was a great experiment. It was fun while it lasted, but I think both of these women need to go back into singles competition. Who knows how this is going to affect Rhea tomorrow, because Rhea just took a massive beating in this match getting ready for the Chamber. So hopefully we'll see Rhea not get hurt too bad tomorrow. Hopefully this doesn't affect her outcome tomorrow in the Chamber. We'll have to see. The other thing I will say about this match, so many fucking commercial breaks in this match. We do not need commercial breaks in the middle of matches. We don't need commercial breaks at all, really. I mean, just if you're going to take a commercial break, do it in between matches, or do it in between matches, not in the middle of one. So screw commercials and advertising in general. They're part of the problem everywhere right now. There's just too much advertising. There's a lot of studies about it. Screw advertising, screw commercials, and sorry if that's your job, get out of it. Find something more beneficial to society. Backstage later, we find Nia and Lash saying that they're going to celebrate next week, and a little dig at Kathy Kelly saying that she is not invited. Poor Kathy Kelly. You know, she's right. It was really rude. Again, we get a few more backstage segments in a row here. We have Charlotte and Alexa backstage. Charlotte still upset. She's eating 3 pints of ice cream. Girl, you got to take care of that. Figure it out. Kiana and Julia come in, setting up a match between these two teams, it looks like. So they're still, for whatever reason, sticking with this tag team with Kiana and Julia, when clearly both of these women shine on their own. Stop with the forced tag teams and let these women do what they do by themselves. And Charlotte flat out says that she's not going to share her ice cream with Kiana. So let Kiana have some ice cream. She can have some ice cream. You don't need all that, Charlotte. Just give Kiana some ice cream. Nick Aldis comes backstage. MFT's coming in complaining that the Wyatts interfered in the match, which they didn't. It was, and Aldis put him in his place, saying that, hey, you guys jumped Howdy first. And the Wyatts didn't even get a shot on MFTs. They all hit Howdy and then bailed. So Wyatts came in at the end and didn't even lay a hand on anybody. So Solo kind of speaking out of place there. And Aldis has had enough of the tag titles not being defended enough to his liking. So he's setting up a number 1 contenders match next week. Thank God. Speaking of that, New Day, come on, get healed and let's go, New Day. So yes, I want to see more tag stuff happen on the men's side. 3-hour show. Tell the stories. You got it. That's fine. Do it. You know, cut back. I get we're on road to WrestleMania. I get we're trying to negate injuries, and I understand that. But let's start these stories up. Then we get Randy backstage. Alistair and Zelina trying to get in his head again. And Alistair says that he hopes the Black Mask unlocks the true Viper within. And Randy says the voices are starting to talk more and more. And after the Chamber, he's going to find Alistair. And as Randy leaves, Alistair says to Zelina that he planned it all that way. Now, we get into our main event for tonight. Jacob Fatu versus Logan Paul. Going into this match, again, for the love of God, let Jacob win. We don't need Logan wasting a spot in the Chamber. He's not going to win. But so put someone more entertaining in there. Now, the other thing too, Fatu has an active story with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. How are you not going to put that man in a position against those two? You know, why would you even think about putting someone like Logan Paul in there? Pivot, figure it out. He's not going to win, so put someone more entertaining in there. Just do it. So, I don't know. This match, Logan had the early flurry. Fatu answering back with some big attacks, and Fatu just was, for the most part in this match, was just on fire. Super kicking Logan's face. Again, Logan's going to have a couple springboard moves, but, the Samoan Werewolf isn't going to be put down that easy. Austin Theory trying to get involved, Fatu kicking him in the face. Even Paul Heyman tries to get involved, and Fatu goes to put his hands on Heyman, and as the ref is trying to separate him, Logan hits Fatu with a low blow. Again, the ref didn't see it. It's all legal. And Logan goes for a splash, but Fatu is still able to kick out. And who's going to show up? But the masked man shows up. This was going to be it. In my mind, I was like, all right, great. He's going to stomp Logan. Fatu's going to win. Nope. But Logan unmasks the guy. And it's no one we've ever seen before. Some random dude, it looks like. Nobody knows who this guy is, and security takes him out really quickly. Fatu hits Logan with a Samoan drop off that distraction. But again, who shows up to stack the deck? Drew McIntyre to hit Fatu with the belt, and Logan getting the pin. Man, I was fired up after this match. Stop wasting spots in a PLE for Logan Paul. He's not entertaining. He's not good in the ring. He's not good on the mic. He's just there because he paid you guys money. And that was it. You guys are giving him that spot. Again, stop with the dollar signs. He's not going to win anything. He's not the future of the industry. He's not entertaining. Stop. He's going to do some stupid move for his social media, and then he's going to get eliminated. Just like every other match that he's in, every other time that he's in the ring, he does two little things and then goes and lays down for 20 minutes. It's just dumb. I want Fatu to be in there, much more entertaining. He's way better at everything than Logan is. Just fire him, get rid of him. He doesn't need to be here. So hopefully, everyone just teams up on Logan super quick and he's eliminated in 5 minutes tomorrow night. But, given that, creative is a hard-on for this loser, I don't know what's going to happen. So we are ready for the Chamber tomorrow night. We have the full field is set. Everyone's there. My official prediction that I want to see, I think it would be great to see, is that it ends with Drew is going to be heavily involved in the interference in this match. He's already been stacking the deck, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get his match at WrestleMania to be the easiest it can be. And I think to do that, he's going to have LA Knight be the one to win. So the megastar, with everyone saying LA Knight, and he is going to be the winner of the 2026 Elimination Chamber. Now, on the women's side, I've said it. I think Raquel is going to win, and Judgment Day will run both women's divisions. I feel like Liv and Raquel will both win their respective matches now that they won't have a match to find out who has first pick. That storyline's ruined, so let them both win their championships at WrestleMania. Now, we always like to end these shows with our botch and our pop of the week. For me, and this is all that I had. I wasn't able to get this from Jesse at all, but my botch of the week was the ESPN instruction manual. If it's that confusing to watch your content, maybe do something different. ESPN's not the answer to everything. They're just not. I mean, they've got enough stuff going on. We don't need all this. Just make it easy. Make it easy to watch your stuff, and don't charge everyone an extra $20 a month just to watch your PLEs. Just get a VPN and go to Canada for the night. My pop of the week was the belts being taken off Rhea and Iyo. Again, this is to allow Rhea and Iyo to become singles competitors and to shine as singles and be done with the tag division. Let everyone else run it, and you two go do stuff on your own. I think it would be great. Make that run for the United States Championship. Let's do it. Or, challenge Liv. Or, or Stephanie Vicaire. When that happens, let's go. Let's do that. I think the thing that I'm most excited for tomorrow night, I want to see CM Punk lose to Finn Balor. I want that storyline shaken up. I want the WrestleMania story to change. I want them to have Roman to think that he was going against Punk, but now he's going up against Finn, and we'll have to see what happens there. So Elimination Chambers tomorrow should be good. We got a good card, so we'll come back at you guys after that to talk about our reactions and our thoughts, and hopefully we finally get to see what's in this crate. I've heard a really good theory that it could be a fifth pod. Could be fun. Another person in there, surprise entrance, who knows? But we'll have to wait until after Chamber to talk about that. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you all in the next one. See you later.